Hi ladies and gentlemen, Trisha Keel, Tomorrow's Key. I'm sitting in Sheri Anderson's kitchen. Hey, hi Sheri!
Hello!
Sheri Anderson has a great story to tell you. This is the story of the list, and I want you to bear in mind that you too can make a list. So we're going to let Sheri tell, because it is such a great story, how she came to discover Feng Shui and the magic of the list. Here we go. All right, we're setting it up. Okay. Highly technical here.
Okay. I learned about Feng Shui through a gentleman that I was working with. He firmly believed in Feng Shui, and when it came time to move offices, because he had outgrown the space we were in, he said that there was someone coming to assist, and when I asked who, he simply said his Feng Shui lady. And so there was a woman that showed up, Trisha, and said, oh, well, this has to go here, and this has to go here, and here's this, and it must be this, and it must be that. And I just went, okay, so just, okay, absolutely. Having dealt with this gentleman's commitment to doing exactly what she said, and knowing that he had had huge successes by adhering to these recommendations, I went along with it. A couple of weeks later, maybe a month, because of the space that we had taken over, there would be an energy adjustment made. So there was a blessing of the space and a setting of intentions. And I had received an email with directions from Trisha saying, if all things were possible, money was no object, what would you ask for? Here are these areas of the Bagua, and write something out for each one of them, what your intentions would be. And I'm like looking at this going, what? Okay, so I very carefully considered these things for this gentleman, went through the ceremony, and in the meantime, in the 2 or 3 weeks it took to actually get this scheduled and set up, a friend of mine also ended up having an energy clearing and blessing scheduled for his house the next day. So I went through the one for my employer, and immediately that day felt the energy shift in that office. It went from being a space where a previous person doing the same sort of work went bankrupt to a place of possibilities, and became very financially successful afterwards. The participating in this was astounding. Going the next day to my friend's home and participating in the blessing there was a totally different kind of experience. But it was still the shifting of energy was so palatable. It was so amazing. It was the same sort of setting of intentions. And I began to see that it was the very specific nature of telling the universe what we wanted. Not just what we wanted for the business, but what we wanted for the personal. And standing back the next few days and weeks and seeing the positive changes for all of them and everyone that actually had been involved was the most amazing thing. So then I realized that maybe I should do this for me. And I invited Trisha to my home, and turned out that I had issues, especially ones dealing with blocking and preventing myself from moving forward. And in anticipation of what would eventually come, because I had wanted a blessing of my home also, it became a matter of identifying the problems, the blocks, and then getting very clear about what I wanted to happen and where I wanted to go. So as we wrangled in the blocks and began to clear the clutter and clear the ties to the things that no longer served me, it became very apparent that there was something going on here that was real. And it had to do not only with how I felt about myself and about where I was living, but also about knowing and recognizing and asking for there to be changes. That really there was something more out there, and all I had to do was really ask.
So when you asked for the help, and I came, and we good Lord, we turned your house on its, bless your heart, you were so brave. I said, so is it okay with you if I rearrange the living room? And she said, sure, and I took the love seat and put it in the dining room. And then I switched the living room and the 2 chairs that she had left in there and opened it up. And she had a footstool to one chair, but no coffee table. And we ended up putting a tray on the coffee table and
Right.
kind of creating, on the footstool and creating it as a coffee table. But we also then went to IKEA. Oh, God, IKEA. And got 4 tall bookshelves
Right.
and 1 short bookshelf.
Right.
So that she would have a place to put all the things, because that's the only reason she hadn't unpacked, was she didn't have a place to unpack too.
Right.
So she had no focus, no direction, no intention. And bringing in all the furniture meant that we had to, if you've ever been to IKEA, you know you're going to be assembling the furniture.
Gotta love flat packs.
Got to love, they're so heavy, and getting them up the stairs and the whole adventure of creating all this furniture. We rearranged her office and set it up so that she was then surrounded and flanked and protected by all these bookshelves instead of sitting with her back to the door. It was really nice. But after we set up all those bookshelves, she got called back to work at the law firm that she was working for, and I left. And after she got out of work, what was it, 1:30 in the morning?
Right. I went back home, and having done everything that we had done that day, and while it certainly wasn't finished, because there were boxes and boxes of books, there was also the sense that things had changed, and they had changed by my specific intentions.
So when you came back up the stairs?
When I came back up the stairs, I stood at the doorway, 1:30 in the morning, with my key, and put it into the door lock. And before I opened the door, I specifically said to myself and out loud, nothing will ever be the same. It has all changed. And when I looked down at the key, which was a purple key, and I love purple, and I bought it because it was purple, I realized that there were lightning bolts actually in the pattern on the key. And of course all the hair on my body stood up, and
the energy came through the key.
The energy came through the key, and it charged me, and it charged that place. And truly, nothing has ever been the same since.
Excellent. Thank you, Sheri.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.